Welcome to another episode of Rediscovering the Bible with Ring Them Bells. Today we're going to talk about cosmology. No, we're not going back to makeup school. We're talking about the science of the origin and the development of the universe. We're talking about your worldview and belief for how everything got here and where we are. This book, The Biblical Cosmos, is a great source and guide to that. It helps us understand ancient culture and how they thought their world was and how it came to be made. That's where we need to start to understand where they're coming from.
Share for you from a book here. This is a great book. I'm a sucker for a good cover. This is by Robin A. Perry, The Biblical Cosmos. Really cool Starry Night cover. And it goes over ancient cosmology compared to our cosmology and helps us understand where they're different so that we can understand where the authors of Scripture were coming from. All right, listen to what he says. We think that we have a pretty good grasp of what the cosmos, our universe, everything around us is like. There's us living on the skin of a giant globe, circling a star we call the sun. This star is just one of millions in the Milky Way galaxy, and the Milky Way, in turn, is just one among millions of galaxies. So when we read the creation story in Genesis 1, in our mind's eye, we imagine that the world that God created looking something just like that. A spherical globe, the earth. However, as we'll discover, neither the author of Genesis 1 nor his original audience would have thought this of the world. Indeed, in many ways, the world of the Bible, the cosmos as pictured by the writers and original audience of biblical texts, was a very different cosmos to our own. Before we get into the crazy stuff, let's ease into things. The biblical cosmos is a very vital place, a place bursting with life. Modern Westerners draw rigid distinctions between animate objects like animals and plants, inanimate objects like sea and mountains. The former alive in varying degrees can be conscious. The latter are not alive and have no consciousness. We climb mountains, we look at mountains, we dig in mountains, we paint mountains, but we do not talk to mountains, and we certainly do not expect them to talk back. Now, ancient Israelites didn't talk to mountains either, but they seem surprisingly willing to talk about the whole of created order as if it were in some sense alive and conscious and able to respond to God in a manner appropriate to it. This phenomenon is so common in the Bible, we often become oblivious to it, so it's worth highlighting in some instances. It's a great way to prick your brains and get you thinking. When you approach the Bible, we have to approach it on its terms, and understanding cosmology, what they thought of their world as they wrote, is super important so that we can gain the meaning. And I'm not saying we need to get out there and talk to mountains, but maybe we do. A connection back with the spiritual side is a good thing. We've lost that in our Western culture, and we need to recognize it.
So you have a cosmology. Whether you knew it or not, you have a belief system for how everything is ordered in the universe. And the biblical authors have their own cosmology for how they believed everything was ordered. And it's our job as we rediscover the Bible to uncover what they believed so that we can properly understand what they were trying to tell us. On Ring Them Bells and Rediscovering the Bible, that's going to be our goal. Thank you for following along. If this helped you, please like or share.